I wanted to talk a little bit about positioning here and how to position yourself as an expert and a hero at the same time. So, I have a question for you. Disney movies, and this is my favorite Disney movie. I love Hercules. Disney movies, there's one thing that all of the heroes have in common. There's a few things, but I'll ask you that question. What is something that all of the heroes in a Disney movie have in common? And maybe throw some answers in and we'll have a little bit of a discussion. Males, come up story, have a build up story, good looks, yeah. Start from the bottom. They're animated, yeah. Brave. They can do anything. They're expert. Something they have to achieve. Courageous, humble, dope. Save someone. Sacrifice. They're amateurs. Yes, right. So that last one, they're amateurs, and we hit on it a few times, come up story. If you think to any Disney movie, the hero is not the hero until usually the last literally 2 minutes. Maybe the last 2 minutes of the film, the hero is the hero. That is it. The rest of the film, and what makes the film interesting, is that they are an absolute goofball. They don't know how to talk to girls. They're not strong yet, okay? They're a hero on a mission, and the important bit here is they are on a mission, okay? That we understand that there is a goal. We understand that there is forward momentum, but we relate to them because they have flaws. Hercules is weak at the start. Hercules is an absolute goofball around Megan, I think her name is. He can't talk to her. He's cringy, okay? But we can all relate to that, okay? We can all relate to that. We relate to the hero's flaws, and we're rooting for the hero because we see our flaws in them, and if they can overcome whatever it is they have to overcome, then we believe that we can overcome it too. So that's why stories are so powerful. We relate to the flaws of a hero, and we root for them, we root for the underdog because we want to believe that we can do it ourselves. Otherwise, that's why we watch films. That's why we watch films. Now, thinking about that and kind of bringing this back to a personal brand, and also bringing this back to our friend Ahmed as well. I'm rooting for Ahmed. I'm rooting for Ahmed. He can't do anything well at the moment, but I know if that man keeps going, he's going to be one of the best parkour guys ever because people are behind him. There's a story there, okay? So what I wanted to kind of illustrate there is that the best time to start your personal brand and start posting about is exactly where you are right now, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable and be open. That is where people are going to connect with you, okay? If you present yourself on social media as, hey, I am the expert, I'm the hero, I've solved all of these problems, look at me, what a G, people are gonna go, fuck off, you're really annoying, and not even give you the time of day. People want to buy into your story, okay? So there's two things that we have to straddle here. There's two things that we have to straddle. We have to we have to get people bought into our hero on a mission story. But if we are selling as well, if we have an offer, we also need them to view us as a mentor. So a hero and a mentor are two different things. So we've got a couple of famous mentors here. My favorite films ever, and hopefully you guys as well, Lord of the Rings. We actually have a few mentor characters in Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is a very, very interesting, in terms of storytelling dynamics, very interesting. But in general, we have our hero, Frodo and Sam, and we have our mentor. We have the wise mentor, Gandalf, who's been on many missions before. He has wisdom. We trust him. It's not his mission. He is there to guide. And it's the same with every story. We have Luke, he's a failure, but he doesn't know the Force at the moment. But we have someone who's been on many missions. They're old, they're wise, and they are the mentor for this person coming up on the story. So we need to position ourselves as one, the hero who is on an interesting mission, and we need to tell an interesting story through our personal brand, by being absolutely authentic as to where we are exactly at this point in time. That helps people to buy into us. And two, we also need to position ourselves as a mentor. Now, a really helpful way to kind of think about this is kind of a ladder. This is how I like to visualize it. And I've put a picture, but I put it on a different slide somewhere. So anyway, you can all imagine a ladder. Now, the way that I like to think about this, and I'm sure you've heard this quote, is like that we must always be a student and a teacher at the same time, okay? We are always learning and we are always teaching, okay? The best way to consolidate your knowledge and the best way to share your understandings is to teach it to others. You haven't fully understood something if you're not able to teach it to others. So one of the best things you can do for your own learning is to teach it to others. Now, Russell Brunson has something that he says in his book, Expert Secrets, that I'm sure a lot of you have read. It's like, you only need to be one chapter ahead of your audience or the people who you are selling to. Now, I would personally argue is that you should maybe be like a couple of scenes or like a few chapters ahead before you start selling to someone. I think that's kind of his sort of way of saying just get going and get started. I would suggest that you're not selling to someone something that you learned last week. I don't necessarily think that's a good idea. But if you're teaching someone something that you've learned and consolidated a year ago, 18 months ago, then absolutely. You don't have to be an expert in a field for the next 10 years before you start having an offer. You're in that field now. You can start sharing and consolidating your knowledge right away. There's people who are stuck where you were a year ago, and you can literally help them out in 2 hours. What took you 20 hours to learn, you can help them in 2 hours. So you're saving them a load of time now. So I just kind of wanted to present those concepts in a way that, one, be authentic with your personal brand, be a bit of a goofball, those things that kind of make you, that make you affable, post about them, okay? Just be yourself. Don't try and be anyone else other than yourself. Honestly, this is the way that people are going to connect with you. Now, also, people will, if you're being yourself, there'll be certain people who'll be like, I don't like him. Great. You're filtering out. You're filtering out people who are, one, never going to buy from you, and you probably don't get on with anyway. Okay, so let's say, for example, you start posting about how you love to eat steak every day. There's probably not going to be very many vegans who are going to be following you. Probably. Maybe some like carnivore curious people, but there's going to be a lot of triggered vegans. They're not going to follow you. Great, whatever. Okay, let's say you start posting about something, a particular point of view, and a bunch of people unfollow you. They're like, that's misogynistic, whatever, I don't know. Great. They were never going to buy into you because they don't know, they don't like, or and they're probably not going to trust you. That's great. It's a filter mechanism. By being yourself, you attract more of the people that you actually want to work with, and you filter out people who are, one, never going to buy from you, and you probably didn't want to work with anyway in the first place.